Dear colleagues, the right to stand for election, whether at local, regional or national level, is a fundamental principle of any democracy. It is important, therefore, that this right is carefully and clearly defined, especially when it comes to any limitations that are imposed on it. Democracy needs to constantly renew itself and adapt to new circumstances and the social and political development of the societies that practice it. But it will always remain founded on the principle of free and fair elections. The Congress has a special role in Europe as an international observer of local and regional elections. This important work enables us to identify some of the issues that require further attention when it comes to organising elections. One of these issues concerns the laws regulations in a member state concerning who can run for political office at local and regional levels. Our main proposal today is to supplement the Venice Commission's Code of Good Practice in electoral matters with a text dealing specifically with these conditions of eligibility to stand for election. I should take the opportunity to pay tribute to the work of the Venice Commission. We have worked closely with them and also with the related body, the Council for Democratic Elections, in the preparation of this report. Thanks are also due to Mr. Alain Del Camp, the new Special Representative of the Congress for Constitutional Issues, who has presented our drafts at several meetings in Venice and has himself been a major contributor to this report. In the draft recommendation, the first condition that we address is the age at which a person can stand for election. As said my co-rapporteur, the age of candidacy is already 18 years in 35 out of our 47 member states. It's clear that this is the European norm. However, several countries apply stricter standards, particularly for the elections of mayors. We believe that the minimum age at which a person may stand for election to any elected office at local and regional level be no greater than 18 years in all member states. We cannot keep complaining about the lack of interest in local and regional politics when we exclude them from taking political responsibility. At the other end of the age scale, we also recommend against setting a maximum age limit. We believe that it is not a candidate's age which is important, but the factor of trust, without which there can be no living democracy. Citizens need to trust both the candidate's ability to discharge a local or regional mandate. We also need to trust the voters' ability to choose those who can best represent them. There are many variations in the domestic law of our member states concerning residency requirements for national standing for election. We recommend that in those countries where there are applied, any minimum time requirement with regard to residency should be as short as administratively possible. Once you are registered as a resident in a community, whether through the electoral list or paying taxes or buying renting property or other means, once the paperwork is completed, we consider that you should be able to stand for the elections. In the explanatory memorandum, we also raised the issues of conflict of interest and campaign resources at the local and regional level. We believe that these topics merit further work, and we propose that further follow-up should be given to them. Concerning the requirements of financial deposits and supporting signatures, we recommend that the amounts required should be reasonable and proportionate to the size of the electoral district. We found this to be the case in the majority of countries the report examined. We also recommend that independent candidates be allowed to stand in all local and regional elections without unduly restrictive requirements of financial deposits and supporting signatures. Independent candidates are allowed in all our member states, but sometimes they have to provide a large deposit or a very high number of supporting signatures. I am concerned that there are still some countries which apply an automatic ban on standing for election following certain criminal convictions. These countries should review their legislation. It would be better for any decision of ineligibility requires a specific judicial decision of limited duration and proportionate to the seriousness of the offence committed, to bring their domestic law in line with the case law of the European Court of Human Rights. It is interesting to see the variety of different functions that countries have decided are incompatible with elected office. While it is clear that some of these functions could lead to conflict of interest, I suggest that it is unfair and discriminatory to expect these people to resign from their employment before standing for elections. We also recommend that the Committee of Ministers encourage governments of Member States to consider practical measures to increase the proportion of women standing for elections, such as the use in party list elections of gender quotas and other measures that are compatible with preference voting systems. Finally, while we acknowledge that it is natural that Member States, for cultural and historic reasons, have different nationality and residency requirements, the Congress believes that electoral regulations need to keep pace with the changes in society and, in particular, the increasing number of citizens who are relocated to live and work on a permanent basis in other countries. This is why we recommend that Member States take steps to encourage foreign nationals who are legally residing in and actively contributing to our societies to participate actively in their communities through initiatives such as foreign residence councils and by improving their local and regional electoral rights. Summarising, our proposition is to decrease all barriers we can do, is to encourage people to take part in local political life, to stand for elections and to take political responsibility. Thank you for your attention. I think these are important texts and I ask for your support in improving them. Thank you.